It was a lackluster week of college football. Most of the top 25 struggled, some lost, except for those Georgia Bulldogs. That's right, once again, Georgia blows out their opponent. But can those hedge pissers, those Fonzie jukebox tappers, can they finally get it together and win a national championship for the first time since Fonzie was tapping jukeboxes and getting ass on happy days? Has Tennessee arisen from the ashes? They've been coming on here as of late. Played two close games against two ranked teams and finally beat a ranked team in Kentucky last week. Every team has that game where they have to win the close one. Can those Georgia Bulldogs, those hedge pitchers, can they take off those red and black colored glasses to see that their team has yet to beat a good team in a close game? Clemson doesn't count because we know Clemson is trash. Has Tennessee arisen from the ash? Stay tuned to find out. How's it going out there today, boys and girls in sporting land? This is JPC. I am the outlaw of college football, but most importantly, this is the home of the Common Joe and the Common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads. That's right. Now, getting right to it. Today, class, what we're going to talk about here is Georgia versus Tennessee. Not just a preview and a prediction, but what is it going to take for Tennessee to pull the biggest upset probably in Tennessee history this century? This game in itself could be the game that could put Tennessee back on the map, put them in relevancy. No, they're not going to win any kind of championship this year, but if they could stick one to Georgia and send them into the SEC championship game with a loss, it would definitely build character for them and build for the future of Josh Heupel and his regime. It would be a win that would be just more than a signature win. It would be a win that would definitely, in my opinion, get the ball rolling and put Tennessee back, like I said, in the relevant realm of college football. So, my opinion, Georgia's defense is due a bad game. Now, they really haven't had a bad game yet. Not a terrible one. Not to the point where Stetson and company have to actually pull a game out and win it. Sooner or later, Georgia's going to run into an offense that's going to put more than 13 points on them, in my opinion. Might be this week with Tennessee. Tennessee has been coming on here as of late. They played Ole Miss really close. Probably should have won that game. Alabama game says 52-24, but that score is nowhere near indicative of how close that game was. Alabama scored like 3 touchdowns in the last quarter to put that game away and to make it look worse than what it really was. So that game in itself could have been a detriment to Tennessee, but it wasn't. They come back from that loss. Those 2 losses back-to-back where they played 2 ranked teams very tough, and they took that into Lexington and beat Kentucky 45-42, who was ranked. Probably not ranked now, but they were ranked then. And now they got to play Georgia. What better way to keep the ball rolling? If Tennessee can pull this epic upset, then, like I said, Tennessee can be a contender once again because Florida is slipping and sliding right out of the mix. This is Tennessee's opportunity to take a step up. Maybe not unseat Georgia completely, but they can at least be the second best team in the East for the next few years until they get a footing, until Josh Heupel gets a modicum of a defense. Then things can get very interesting, especially if they can keep Phil Fulmer out of the mix. So I think that the key to beating Georgia, a lot of people think that the key to beating Georgia is the scoring on their defense, when really it's not. The key to beating Georgia was already revealed in the first week. The very first week, Clemson played them in a very tight, low-scoring game. If a team can just get it of the mindset not to get flustered and frustrated and force things and let Georgia cause turnovers like Florida did, if they can just be patient, they'll at least be in the game at the end like Clemson was. And we all know Clemson's trash this year. So, my thing is, I think that the key to beating Georgia is not putting points on their defense. It's having a defense that can stop their average offense. See, because that offense benefits from this defense causing turnovers, and this offense ends up scoring anywhere from 24 to 35 points every game, and everybody thinks, oh, well, their offense is just fine. When in reality, it's not. In reality, the defense is propping this offense up, in my opinion, with the timely turnovers and giving them great field position and all that. But if you get a good defense, if Tennessee's defense can step up and stop this average offense and hold them to 17 points, just one time. That's all it's going to take. All it's going to take is one good defensive effort against Georgia's pedestrian offense, and if someone can just hold them to 17 points, then it's very possible to put 20 points on this Georgia defense. If the Georgia defense has to stay on the field more and they get a little tired, any defense is going to give up some points. Now, probably nobody's going to put 30 or 40 points on this defense ever. But if you can put, you can put between 20 and 30 points on this defense, I don't think that Georgia's offense can step up. Especially if you put some pressure on Stetson and rattle him a little bit, get some hits on him, a la Will Anderson maybe in the future, I think that Georgia can be beat. But people have got to stop concentrating on scoring on Georgia's defense and just stopping their offense. And you can beat the Georgia Bulldogs, and that's the secret. To me, boys and girls, that's the secret recipe to beating Georgia. Not scoring on Georgia, but stopping Georgia's average offense. This game could go either way. I was on my boy Jonathan Lewis's podcast, and in the comment section, I was messing around and said that Tennessee's going to beat them 28-21. I don't necessarily believe that can happen, but I do know that if anybody can just get and catch this defense on an off night and put about 3 or 4 scores on them, I think that they can be had, and that Tennessee might be able to pull out a upset victory here, especially since it's in that toilet bowl up there called Neyland Stadium, where they like to throw shit on the field, because that's what you do with toilets anyway. You take a shit in them, and I hate to be mean or whatever, because it probably wasn't all the Tennessee fans, but it looked like a lot of fans threw stuff on the field. So, outside of that, I think Tennessee is looking positive. And this could be a signature win for them. But in reality, I don't really know if they can get it done, to be honest with you. But in retrospect, just like I just said, the key is to stopping Georgia's offense. That's how you beat Georgia. And with that, I'm going to get off of here. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams.